So TransferWise is a way to circumvent the banks whenever you're sending money from one country to another. It's a way how to do it much faster than the banks would allow you to do it, and to do it at a fraction of the cost. So what really happens when you go to HSBC, say in the UK, and you want to send money to Hong Kong, whether you're paying for an invoice, whether you're funding your own account, doesn't matter. You're sending money from pounds in your HSBC account to Hong Kong dollars in Hong Kong. And imagine you're doing it with HSBC. If you're using HSBC on both sides, HSBC might tell you that it's actually free because you're Premier or whatever, or they might say it's it's £10 international transfer fee. What they don't tell you is that they're going to use an exchange rate that is not the real one, not the one that you see on Reuters or Bloomberg, but it's that real one plus 4 or 5 or maybe 6%, depends on the day and their mood. And when you think that you're paying just £10, it turns out to be £500. And unless you do the math, you'll never know. So that's why TransferWise exists, is to help people and businesses get around that problem. I think when we started this business with Tavet, we were really excited about solving the problem and proving to ourselves or testing whether this idea that works between two people, is it realistic that this could work for everyone? So there are actually two questions embedded. One is this kind of challenge that we had, that the banks were screwing us. Is it just like Estonians in London problem, or is it like a European problem, or is it a global problem? We really didn't know until we checked, and it turns out this is actually a global problem. Everyone has it, and it's been going on for decades, and it doesn't seem to be a solution. It was quite exciting for us to test whether this mechanism that worked between us, and we extended it to some friends, whether that would actually work globally, and looks like it does. So that's what we were really excited about. Like, does it work, and how far can it go? It's gone pretty far, but in some ways, I think today 95% of the world's transfers are still done by banks, and at a pretty crazy hidden fees. The story how TransferWise got started was something very similar. I'm originally from Estonia. It's a small country in Northern Europe, and when I moved to London, I had my savings account still back in Estonia, so with larger Christmas bonuses, I thought it would be a good idea to store them in my savings account. And I only realized the trick that the banks use when about 500 euros less arrived over Christmas one day. And then I started working out how this whole thing works, and that's what I explained. In order to get around this, at the time, I found out that I have a friend who had the opposite problem. So he's sending money from Estonia to London to pay for his rent. He was still paid in euros. He's now my co-founder, and what we started doing then was switching euros to pounds. So effectively, I would send my pounds from my HSBC account to his account in Lloyd's. It doesn't cost us anything. It's just pound to pound, account to account. In the UK, it's free. Then we looked at the Reuters exchange rate, and he would put the exact right amount of euros from his account in Estonia to my account in Estonia. Again, it doesn't cost us anything. And suddenly I have 500 euros more, he has 400 pounds more, just because we were able to go around the banks who would charge an arm and a leg for this. So that's how we got started, just from the mere fact that when we're sending euros to Estonia, the euros are already there, just need to move from the right account to where they need to go. And the model of TransferWise is similar. We actually don't send money internationally. The money is already there. People who send money from Hong Kong to the UK are supplying the dollars for us to be able to pay out people who send money from UK to Hong Kong. And of course, if you now add the 56 countries where we operate, it's a big and pretty complex network of managing the flow of funds from the senders to the recipients, but magically we're able to do it in many cases under 20 seconds. The way people use TransferWise is they start by opening an account with us. When they want to send, I'm using the same example, sending money from London to Hong Kong, we would be immediately able to tell them how much it costs. So first of all, we always use the same exchange rate that they see in Reuters, so there's no hokey-pokey with that. Sending money from UK to Hong Kong, I think now is about 0.4%, something like this. So it costs about £4 to send 1,000, and there are no hidden fees involved. The other cool thing we do is when HSBC says it takes 3 to 5 business days for money to arrive, we're now able to predict with the accuracy of 2 hours when the money is going to arrive. And in fact, when you send from the UK to Hong Kong, most of the transfers now arrive under 20 seconds. So 20 seconds from, say, your HSBC account in the UK to a Hang Seng account in Hong Kong. In Hong Kong dollars, costs you £4 for every 1,000 you send, and it's there in 20 seconds. It's kind of no-brainer. Profit or profitability is not very exciting where we have 2% of the market and banks have 98% of the market. We're very much in the very early days of changing how money moves across borders, and the opportunity here is big. So, give you an example. We started 8 years ago with Tawet. We thought, okay, we knew that banks were charging roughly like 4%, 5% hidden in this exchange rate. We thought maybe we can do it for like 0.5, which should be possible. So we kind of looked at what our cost would be and thought it should be possible to do it 0.5. But over time we still raised capital from venture investors, and it was only 2-3 years ago once we started breaking even, which means that actually these kind of prices that we set in the beginning, we adapted a little bit, but not too much, that they actually became real like 2 years ago, where we're at this kind of pricing. We're able to pay for offering the service and even invest in growing more.